Oh, crikey, that's a hand right there. Could be alien, could be human and missing a finger. It's hard to tell from this angle. Oh, and look at that. It's grabbed up a death adder. You gotta be careful with those. They can be quite dangerous, but what a beauty, mate. See how the razor sits perfectly in the hand, fingers resting on the clickers, and the thumb right on the buttons. Oh, you love to see it. He's gonna top frag with that one for sure. Oh, look at that. He's shaking his wrist side to side with no sign of carpal tunnel. That's just beautiful, mate. Oh, and what's this? He seems to have found a new friend. Now notice how thin and narrow this croc is. That is much harder to get a good grip on, and you're just not gonna feel secure. So, if it wasn't clear from that intro, I'm missing a finger and neither of my thumbs work very well because of a birth defect. So when Nintendo announced their new Switch was going to have mouse mode, I was stoked. I'm straight up ass as far as aim goes with joysticks, but with a mouse and keyboard, I'm like one level above ass. I would say ass plus. No. Ass gold. Not ass platinum, but ass gold. Which is why when the Legion Go came out last year, I bought one immediately. Now, to be honest, when I saw that the Legion Go had mouse mode, it was the first time I had really seen this type of feature, and I was pretty sure it was going to be a gimmick. But after testing, not only was it not a gimmick, but it was a genuine game changer for me personally. Being able to use a mouse on the go for aim is way better, and within an hour of practice, I ended up playing Counter-Strike at maybe, I don't know, 80 to 90% of my skill level with a regular mouse and keyboard. I wasn't top frag, but I also wasn't the straight dog water that I am on joysticks. So anyway, because of my experience with the Legion Go's mouse mode, I could not wait to try it on the Switch, which had the full weight of Nintendo's hardware and software legacy behind it. Needless to say, hopes were flying high, but it turns out my hopes didn't see the two towers. Oh my god! All right, I want to be really clear about this. I know my hands are not comparable to regular human hands, but I also think my experience is important as someone who has used nearly all of the big name handhelds in the last couple years, and as someone who is very acutely aware of ergonomics and usability. So before you leave a comment about how if my hands were normal, I wouldn't be having these issues, believe me, I am incredibly aware. And I've been trying to talk to the manufacturer about getting these things replaced, but they keep saying that they're out of warranty, so I don't know what to do. Alright, with all that out of the way, here's my experience with the Switch 2's mouse mode. So to use mouse mode, I popped off the Joy-Cons, put on the little slider bits, which we'll get back to in a minute, and that's it. Seriously, huge props to Nintendo here for making things that just work. You don't have to tinker. I love that I don't have to go into settings somewhere. The mouse just pops up on the home screen, and we are good to go. So let's boot up Zelda Breath of the Wild. I've been doing my first playthrough on the Switch 2, and I am loving it. And it's a big ol' open world with aiming and shooting, so it's the perfect game to test out mouse mode with. And here we have our first speed bump. Zelda Breath of the Wild does not support mouse mode. Turns out there are only a few games that support mouse mode. It's very much not universal, which is kinda lame. Pause if you want to check out the supported games. So okay, choosing from this narrow list of games that work, let's pick Cyberpunk because that is supposed to work. And booting it up, popped off the Joy-Cons, and they don't work. Turns out you have to go into settings and enable mouse mode. Not a big deal, but it's a little bit surprising because so much of Nintendo's experience is just plug and play. So I didn't think I would have to go mess with settings, but no biggie. The Legion Go solved this exact issue by putting a switch on the Joy-Con that swapped between mouse mode and controller. Maybe Nintendo could add something like this so you don't have to dive into settings. Regardless, right about now is when the real issues started to rear their heads. Now we are good to go. We are using it as a mouse. It's kind of cool. Now we can hit continue. Okay, the weird, the click doesn't click like how you would expect it. Do I have to hit A? Weird. Okay, so you have to hit A. Even though you're in mouse mode, you don't use click like you would a mouse, you use A. And another thing, eventually you're gonna have to charge up your Switch 2, and this video's sponsor Ugreen has you covered with their Ugreen Nexode 165 watt retractable power bank. This thing is actually so cool. Not only is it a big old battery that can put out 100 watts from a single port, which is fast enough to fast charge something like a Steam Deck or RG Ally X or Switch 2 in this case, but it can also do 165 watts between the two Type-C ports, And it even has a Type A port, so you can charge up to 3 devices at a time. And it's got a built-in retractable USB Type-C cable that is 2 feet long. I hate having to carry extra cables with me, so having one be built into the battery bank is just awesome. And it is remarkably durable. It can support up to 20 kilograms, and it's been tested with over 25,000 retraction cycles, so it's not gonna break on you. Oh, and the battery itself is 20,000 milliamp hours, which is enough to charge an iPhone 16 up to 3.8 times, while still being small enough that you can take it on a plane. Ugreen also launched a 65-watt charger with the same retractable cable, which has quickly become my go-to charger. I just love having a built-in cable. You don't have to bring a separate one on the side that clutters up your bag. If you want to check out either of these, I'll leave them linked down below, and thanks again to Ugreen for sponsoring this section of the video. That works pretty nice. I mean, I can look around. It's maybe a little more sensitive than I want, but what? And this is go. And then I drive with left stick, okay. Yeah, that feels pretty good. But I can already tell you this is a problem where now if I have to hit A to get out of the vehicle, that's all the way up here. So if I rest my hands here so that I can leave my thumb on A like that, now all the weight of my hand is resting right on the back and like this. And that makes it wanna, when I go side to, yeah, that makes it wanna just tip over if I go side to side. Like if I push to the side without me grabbing it, which then I'm hitting buttons. How I wanna hold it is like this, with my thumb down like this, then my finger naturally rests on the trigger. This seems to work pretty well. But then if I do that, I cannot, there's no way I'm reaching the buttons. But if I reach the buttons, now the weight of my hand and arm is on the Joy-Con, and that makes the Joy-Con just want to tip over one way or the other. With a regular mouse, rest my hand and the weight, no problem, like this, and it doesn't want to tip over if I move side to side. It just does normal stuff. But on this, if you rest the weight and then you try to go to the side, either way, it just tips over. There's just, I mean, look at how thin it is. There's nothing stopping this from rolling from one side to the other. So of course it tips over if you try and do it. But let's just try anyway. And the joystick is disabled, that's nice. All right, the vibrations feel really good. I mean, they're good. There's really tactile. Ooh, sorry about that, car, my bad. Please don't give me a bad Uber rating. Now exit, yeah, now to exit the car, I have to press A or hold A, which means I have to bring my hand up here. I guess I could try, I think they want you to hold it like that, like a claw with your thumb on the buttons. And my thumb kind of resting in the middle so that I can pinch it from either side so that I can hold it up. Because if I don't try and hold it up, it just falls over when I try and go either way. Like it just, look at this. Look at how easily that falls over. I mean, it's not, and because it's pretty tall, is it about the same height as a mouse? Yeah, it's about the same height as the mouse, but you know, a fraction of the width. So anyway, all right, so let's try. So if I hold it here, but the problem is now when I'm holding it here, you can't see it in shot. If I hold it like this, my whole arm is hovering above the desk, which is really uncomfortable. And I can guarantee you hover your hand like this, it's gonna get tired quickly because there's nothing resting on the desk. I'm just holding it, which means my shoulder's gonna get tired, my elbow's gonna get tired. But as far as the mouse like accuracy itself, it actually feels pretty good. Feels like it's tracking pretty well. It really shows off the frame rate not being terribly high when you can whip the camera around, which you can't really do on a joystick. Okay, so anyway, let's get in here. This is crazy. Already my elbow is getting tired right now. It's already, because you're holding it. I'm holding it like, here, maybe this helps. I'm holding it like a few inches off the desk, because if I put my weight on it, then it tips over. So can't do that. But if I go like this, oh, this is so much more comfortable to do it like this, but then I can't reach the buttons. Yeah, sensitivity feels a bit too high for me, but that's okay. Like, look, I'm able to do 180 in about a quarter wrist turn, and a 360, wait, 360's right there, in about a full, if we mark this pillar of the tower, and we mark it straight on, yeah, right there. You know, Anyway, but here's something we got to talk about is, like, for example, if I rest my hand like this, which is how I want to rest it, then my thumb reaches the joystick, but it doesn't reach these buttons, which I need to press. Whereas if you look here, and you can kind of see it, if I rest my hand like this, you can see my thumb is naturally just resting on this mouse button, on this middle mouse button, or thumb mouse button. Whereas on here, it's just resting on the joystick. That's the same distance as the joystick to the mouse button, which makes it really hard to hit these buttons, which I need to press, but I can't quite reach my thumb up there very well while keeping my finger on the trigger. Yeah, it's super awkward here, but if I put my arm up here, you can see it. Then my whole arm is hovering above the table. I mean, I'm hovering like a couple inches above the desk just so that I can pinch it like this. So, oh. Oops. Okay, and real quick, these Joy-Con strap-ons are just poorly designed in my opinion. They're these tiny little pieces of plastic and they do almost nothing. They do make the Joy-Con a bit more stable, but just barely. And they give a little strap, which I don't know how you use a mouse, but for me, it just gets in the way of my wrist because it feeds off the back, which is exactly where your arm goes. This is the type of accessory that kind of bothers me because it doesn't really do that much and it's super easy to lose because where are you supposed to store these things when they aren't on the Joy-Cons? If they were going to be actually useful, they would need to add some extra width, maybe with some flip out arms or something, and they could add better ergonomics for when you're using it in mouse mode. But they don't do either of those things, so lots of room for improvement. So long story short, as much as I want to love mouse mode, it just doesn't work for me ergonomically. I can't reach the ABXY buttons without resting my hand on the Joy-Con, and if I rest my hand on the Joy-Con, when I try to move left or right, it really wants to tip over. And if I hover my hand above the Joy-Con, then it won't tip over, and that works pretty well, but then my arm gets tired really quick because I'm not resting it on anything. I've seen people fix these problems by 3D printing Joy-Con mice, which would totally solve the problem, so I'm probably going to try that out in the future. But that's one more thing that you have to carry around with you, and I probably wouldn't want to take it with me on the go. So maybe I could use it at my house, but I'm probably not going to put it in my bag. Ergonomically, the Joy-Con making you reach your thumb to the top of the mouse to hit the buttons, I mean, there's a reason that no mice do this. It's just not ergonomic, even if you do have thumbs that work okay. So from an accessibility standpoint, I love the idea of having mouse mode. More options for inputs is always better, so I appreciate Nintendo giving us another way to interact with the Switch 2. From an ergonomic standpoint, it just doesn't work for me personally. The Joy-Cons are too thin, so they want to fall over when I try to go left or right. But clearly, I'm a unique case, so I would love to hear how the Joy-Cons work for you ergonomically, and specifically, let me know in the comments if you can reach the ABXY buttons while keeping your finger on the trigger without it being uncomfortable. It looks like it's going to be hard for anyone, but I'm curious for all you normal thumb havers, how does that work? One thing that Lenovo did with their Legion Go is they left the Joy-Con upright, which made it way more ergonomic, and then their solution was you had a little puck that you would slot in and it was magnetic, and I think I would have preferred that to Nintendo's approach because if you hold it upright, which is how you usually hold the Joy-Con, it is much more ergonomic. But even if they did that, they would still have to get creative about how the buttons were going to work. Anyway, TLDR, I love the concept, but I do not love the execution, and I might try some accessories to see if that would fix the ergonomics for me, so subscribe if you want to see that. Oh, and I want to be really clear about this. Just because mouse mode doesn't work for me personally, doesn't mean I'm saying it's bad. It doesn't work for me, but if it works for you, awesome. Enjoy it, have fun, play. Don't feel like you need to yell at me because my experience isn't your experience. We can all have different experiences, and that's one of the cool things that makes us human. We can just have different experiences and we can still love each other. We don't have to be hateful in the comment section. People have been getting really tribal in the comment section of these Switch 2 videos, and I'm not really sure. I love the Steam Deck, I have one. I love PC handhelds, I have a bunch of them, and I love the Switch 2. And I don't see why people think if you like a Steam Deck, then you can't like a Switch. You can like both of them, and I do like both of them. So if you like mouse mode, awesome, let me know about it. I'd love to hear about it in the comment section. If you don't like mouse mode, awesome, let me know about it. I'd love to hear in the comment section. Neither is right or wrong, and let's all be kind to each other. All right, see y'all in the next one. Peace.